The Pledge of Allegiance, I believe. So we'll all stand.
We need to. Can you please stand up?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our President, John.
Thank you. I'm John Batarsa, your president for the next 15 minutes. Thank you all for attending despite the weather. As we know, the state activated the EOC, so a lot of members couldn't make it. And our main speaker, Mr. William Anderson, couldn't make it, and he sent his apology. And the same thing, his group that was supposed to give the training in the morning for the operational couldn't make it this morning. So please accept his apology. I would like to welcome and thank you for coming from down south, CPRA, the president, Richard, for coming, and Jim. They flew out this morning, I think, right? Yes. This morning, thank you for coming. And again, thank you for your attendance. I'm going to start with our treasury report. We started December 1st of last year. We started at 21,581 cents. And up to December 1st of this year, we have 35,939, which is a gain of $14,439 in APCO's account. And we have in money market, we started with 31,972. We used some of that, around $20,000, to pay for the Western Regional Conference that's going to be held in Sacramento. But this money will be coming back to the account from registration and the vendor table top. And so we used $20,000 of that amount. And I would like to call on Mr. Scott Andrews to give us a small briefing about the Western Regional Conference for 2015.
Great, thank you, John. Appreciate that. So as you guys know, we're holding a small event in Sacramento next April, hopefully not too small. We're estimating 12 to 1,500 attendees. It's going to be April 8th through the 10th in the downtown convention center in Sacramento there on J Street. The Hyatt Hotel is our host hotel, 4-star property. It's a $250 plus per night property. We have a negotiated rate of about $150 for the regular members and $107 for the commercial vendor or government attendees. Apologize. So we're excited about the government rate. That's going to really get everybody in the same hotel for the networking events and all the fun evening activities that we have planned. Our call for papers closed here recently. We're very excited. We have close to 80 submissions, which is fantastic. We have a great offering, wide-ranging topics from operations to highly technical and everything in between. So there's going to be something for everybody. We've also partnered with Post. That's an exciting thing. This is really the first time Post has done this with an organization such as APCO. So you'll be able to attend our conference and receive Post credits, which is huge. We've also been working with State of California, the 911 office. We are approved as a set and a reimbursable expense. So you have choices in training now. It's been kind of the NENA allotment for years. We support NENA. We're partnered with NENA in everything we do and they do. However, there are options. We provide valuable training as well, and now you have a choice, which is exciting. Something else that's exciting and kind of unique to our conference, we are going to have the 7th Annual California Fire Chiefs Association command van rally or command vehicle rally on Thursday during our conference. We're closing down streets in downtown Sacramento. We're in the shadow of the state capitol. We have space for over 40 vehicles, so it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a great opportunity to see a lot of state-of-the-art, multi-million-dollar vehicles right outside the trade show floor, so it should really draw a lot of attendees. There's also some partnered training that we're going to be hosting in the Hyatt Hotel in cooperation with the Command Vehicle Rally, so we're excited about that. We have an Evening on the Rails event. It's going to be Thursday evening at the California Railroad Museum. It really is a world-class venue in Sacramento. It's something unique to our region. We're very proud of it, and it's a great opportunity to share that with everybody in the Western region. We've had strong support from a national level of our conference already. We have full commitment from the APCO International Executive Board. The Executive Board will be in attendance. Spoken to Derek Porch personally, Executive Director. FirstNet Director TJ Kennedy is committed. We know he will be in attendance as well. It's pretty exciting. Mark Darladucci, Director of Cal OES, is going to be there. He's going to be providing an opening address and on there, from there. We have over 50,000 square feet of vendor hall space, so it's going to be a large show for the vendor community. We're very excited. We have space for over 160 vendors. We have a lot of unique and exciting things going on. It's going to be a great event, fantastic regional support. The Western region it's Alaska to Arizona, Hawaii to Utah, so it's a large area. It makes up over a third of the country. If you use Alaska by themselves, it's well over half. So it's exciting. It's 15 states. So please register now. APCOWRC2015.org is the website. Check it out. Members, vendors, please come. We're excited to see you all in Sacramento next April. Thank you very much. John.
Thank you, Scott, for the report. I would like to thank the vendors who sponsored today's event. We have Excellus and Oipen that sponsored the coffee. Harris was a bronze sponsor, Carousel Industries gold sponsor, E.F. Johnson gold sponsor, and for the grand prize, emergency vehicle specialist, the grand prize is 2 Kenwood's portable radios. And at this point, I would like to call our friends from CPRA to give us an update on CPRA, Richard Granada and Jim Acosta from the National Executive. If you cannot come up to stage for a short update. Thank you.
Oh, gee, thanks. Well, really thank all of you for having us up here. We were invited and we decided to come up, Jim and I, and we had our last week. We had our Christmas party and also the swearing in of our new officers for next year. Don Miller will be the president for next year. He could not make it, but I'm sure he'll get a chance to come up here and break bread with you people, so that you can see who the president for the Southern California chapter is. We, as being sister chapters, we do a lot of things the same way. And I really admire Scott and what he's doing, and you guys are going to have a great conference. I've already pre-approved for next year. I think it was 8 of our chapter members to come up, also be in the conference. So we also want to bid on next 2017 Western Regional, hopefully to have it down in Ontario, California, where we've had it before. We think we can do it within the year, since we did it with less than a year last time. And we're hoping to also, we've been working real close with Scott's people on the program, Ken Mann, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of mirror a lot of the same stuff that you guys are doing at the conference. Of course, you guys being up here at the Capitol have a lot more advantage. Got the CHP to give you little escorts. That's nice. I like that. I wish we could do that. But other than that, the chapter, our chapter is doing fine down in Southern California. I don't know if you guys have the same problems we do, and that's trying to get people to really participate in the organization. As you all know, the organization is only as strong as the participation with the membership, and it's very difficult when agencies don't support that. And it's hard for many agencies, especially small ones, to allow their dispatchers or even their operational people to to leave their offices to come down to these meetings to gather information or be part of it. And we're always looking at ways on how we can try to improve that and educate the administration and many of these agencies to see the importance and value of what CPRA and APCO does, not only for the local dispatch or operations, but also on the spectrum side of it. It's very important because spectrum is the lifeline of what we do. And there's always so many things going on when it comes to spectrum, and we need to be online all the time, watching for the things that are going on with the FCC, because our commercial side of the world and the FCC always want to take away from public safety. So we have to fight for everything all the time. With that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Jim, and he can give us a little bit of enlightenment from the Executive Council side. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Jim Acosta. As far as the Executive Council from APCO, we're like the national congressional people. We're in hiatus right now, basically, till after the first of the year, so there's really nothing going on other than the fact that APCO came out with their first quarter financials, and APCO is doing good. I don't really have the amounts to give you at this point in time because I actually had a prepared paper for you, or something to say, but I forgot it at home. Getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get up here was kind of a quick deal this morning for me. But Richard alluded to the fact that we had our officer installation last week on Wednesday. We also had our president, John Wright, who's also a chapter member from CPRA. He was present at our meeting, and he actually did the swearing in. So that doesn't happen very often. So we were kind of proud of that he was able to attend. We always invite him to come to our meetings, but they're so busy all the time that it's pretty hard to even get him to come to our own chapter meetings. So we were happy to see him. Other than that, I participated in a site visit to next year's annual conference in Washington, D.C. a couple weekends ago, and they're way ahead of schedule. They have people already lined up for keynote speaking for all the different events. I can't really tell you who it is yet because hasn't been announced. I don't know if you guys know that 2015 is in August, 2016 is Orlando, 2017 is going to be in Denver, and 2018 in Las Vegas. So that's already been announced, and there's plans on announcing the venues or the cities for future conferences through 2022, but that'll come out within the next couple of months. I know what they are. I can't tell you, sorry, because we're kept at bay at that, so that we don't need to, they don't want us to divulge that yet, but sorry about that. Anyways, we think that Washington, D.C., the conference there is going to be a great one, just like in New Orleans and Anaheim. So the conferences continue to be larger and larger, and they're going to, sorry, I'm hearing back here somebody talking. Anyways, that's about it from the national side of APCO. Any questions?
Any questions? If anybody's going to DC, remember to try to book your hotel and arrangements as soon as possible, as soon as they become available, because otherwise they go very fast. That happens at all the conferences. If any of you went to the New Orleans conference, it went pretty fast. So please, if you're going to plan to do that, book them quick.
And one more thing, if you are, obviously you're going to fly there, fly into Reagan International instead of Dulles.
Yeah.
It's about 10 minutes away from the convention center.
If you've never been to DC, there's plenty of ways of getting around there. Not only cab, but you can also take the rails, and the rails go all over the place there, the subways. So.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you. And Rick. I'd like to introduce Mike Dougherty. He's going to be talking about the emerging trends in LMR and LTE communications. Do you want the mic clicker? Oh, the clicker.
So I'm the stand-in. When I heard outside earlier what they, unfortunately, folks couldn't make it, I said, well, I have a really good stand-up act. And people looked at me like, yeah, right. But then they said, well, what about this presentation you did at the Emerging Technology National APCO conference at in San Francisco? And I said, sure, we can do that. Even though I'm with, obviously, a vendor, this is a non-vendor-centric presentation. This is just a view of the emerging trends, as John mentioned in the title, of land mobile radio and LTE. There's a lot of buzz about land mobile radio. There's a lot of buzz about LTE, the future, what the future holds. And there's this thing called commercial wireless, which all of our first responders are using every day as well. So this presentation, is really just to provide an overview, sort of a 50,000-foot view of that. And I think it'll be helpful for everyone just to kind of put your thinking caps on and think about, hey, here's where we're at, and here's where we're going, and here's some of the issues that we need to focus on as first responders. And I want to thank all the first responders and the dispatchers that are here today. Thank you for your service. Thanks for the service of all of your colleagues that are out there working accidents and keeping people safe on the roads today. So with that, we'll get started here. All right. Some technical difficulties, which will be...
We'll be there in a second. We had it, but then it was...
That's okay.
Disconnect this. Let's go back. Keep that dancing. He'll be fine.
Right, well,
You're doing good.
yeah.
Jazz hands.
I'm trying to think. The only joke, the stand-up act I had would only be the jokes that my 6-year-old daughter shares with me. So I've got a couple of those, but that... oh, there we go. Okay, so I can... We're almost there.
Just go with it. I don't know why it's inside like that.
Let me just do this. Maybe it's just one. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm making a plug and play back in. Hold on.
All right.
Live.
Okay.
Radio's not an IT guy.
I know. So you are locked. Here's a public safety escape question. You are locked in a room. Okay. No windows, no doors, no chimney, no visible exit. All you have is a table. Okay, never mind. All right, here we go. All right. All you have is a table and a mirror, and that's it. How do you get out? So think about it, and after the presentation, I'll tell you, okay? Okay, so with that, a lot of change. Land mobile radio, cellular, LTE. What do we do? What are we doing now? Where are we going? What are the issues? That's what this presentation is really all about. If you think about traditional LMR, what was it? It was push-to-talk voice. And that was an important thing. It still is an important thing. But now, as our dispatcher community knows, with NextGen 911 on the horizon, in some cases starting to be implemented, as well as our first responder demands for better situational awareness, given the growth of technology on the consumer level, it is now becoming a more situational awareness and a video and multimedia experience for communications. So that means that not only will we have push-to-talk group communications that we traditionally have, but now we're going to be having a multimedia group communications emerging. And that's really the key difference. This is a slide that everyone in this marketplace should probably be aware of. It's the Dell ad from 1999. There it is. Okay. So I think you touched something funny. Anyway, I don't know. So who here has seen this picture, this image? Okay, good. For those of you who haven't, it's worth taking a look. It's from Homeland Security. Basically, if this has a laser pointer, what we have is at the top here is the current. You say current. What is current? Land mobile radio. We know that, right? It provides our mission-critical voice and in some cases data. We also have at the bottom, you can't really see it if you're in the back, commercial and unlicensed broadband networks. So today, our officers, our firefighters have what? Commercial air cards, right? You're paying $25 to $50 a month to Verizon, AT&T, whoever. That's the current state. Now, with the advent of FirstNet and the nationwide public safety broadband network, you have what will emerge as a unified network for data and eventually a unified voice and data platform for first responders. That's the vision, but you'll note there's no timeframes here. It says indefinite timeframe for the transition, right? Long term for the final evolution. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. So where's public safety today? We talked about it a little bit. Here is sort of a graphical representation of mission critical voice. We started off with analog conventional, and then with the advent of trunking, you saw a spike because of the enhanced capabilities, talk groups, other kind of analog conventional trunking capabilities that came off, so you saw an increase in their usage. Now, what you had the development of in the green is data, and you had low-speed data. Then along comes what? Cellular networks, cellular data, 2G, 3G, now 4G data, okay? So you see a spike in the use of, an increase in the use of that data, okay? And when our police officers and first responders have cell phones now, they're conducting a lot of that business offline on their cell phones, right? So that's where we're at today. LMR is going to continue to be important. However, the data, as we know, will become king, or maybe already is king. And the broadband-based group communication will begin to decline the amount of land mobile radio voice. So this graph kind of all comes together where it shows as broadband data begins, the land mobile radio will begin to fade. And this is, again, indefinite time. This is just sort of a trend graph to represent trends that are emerging or will emerge, we feel will emerge from the vendor community, communications community over time. So land mobile radio is not going anywhere tomorrow, but over time we will see this evolution occur. And that's good, an evolution. It's good. Abrupt change is never good for public safety. You have concept of operations that have been developed over many years. You have legal issues that you have to be addressed. So this is actually a good thing that this is an evolutionary process. And that evolutionary process is built on the three pillars of public safety communications, which are land mobile radio, cellular, and the emerging public safety LTE or FirstNet. Okay? And they rely on them now, and they will continue to rely on them on the future. But why? And so then the people, why can't we have one solution? Well, as we all know in public safety, one solution is often one point of failure, so there's that to consider. The other thing is that each of these platforms brings unique strengths to the table. Land mobile radio, the 10,000 land mobile radio systems around the country, yes, there are issues with interoperability, but they do provide an amazing footprint across the United States in terms of coverage. The commercial cellular carriers basically cover all the populated regions of the United States. Of course, there are uncovered areas, but that's where land mobile radio comes in. Okay, when you have your VHF or your low band, and you can still communicate in those areas where cellular does not exist, that's a good thing. You don't want to just rely on cellular. And the public safety LTE then will provide that robust throughput and capacity for the multimedia group communications and data sharing. So this group communication services, okay, is going to provide a one-to-many experience or one-to-one experience in in a single moment multiple times. You could have 50 officers exchanging information, video, pictures, etc. at one time on a one-to-one basis or on a one-to-many basis. And they are leveraging all these platforms. So the key is to provide an experience to the first responder that leverages all three of these platforms, so that they're able to have a best-in-breed solution that can leverage all of these platforms. And the way you do that is working with vendors and with your IT departments and with your land mobile radio experts and other telecommunicator experts on the convergence of the networks, the devices, and the applications. Okay? So the converged networks, those three pillars, will provide the platform for the communication services. Okay, the devices need to support multiple technologies, not just one. And the applications will run on multiple platforms. So, you have things like leveraging iOS. You can leverage Android. A lot of vendors are using Android right now. So these can be used on multiple devices. One example would be an application that can be used in Windows and Android and iOS. That's a good thing, because in your bring your own device world, you need to have the ability to have that diversity. So we're big about pillars here, and here's sort of two pillars again, represented the land mobile radio on the left and cellular data on the right. And if you look at the various individual components, and I know it's hard to see in the back, but they're very similar in some ways. I mean, you have sites, you have infrastructure, right? In some ways, they are very similar. Obviously, in others, they're very different, but at the end of the day, they're very similar, but they're separate right now. What will happen with the implementation of an IP-based switching platform is you can actually unify these networks, and you can start to provide communication services across the platforms by unifying through an IP-based switching platform. And with FirstNet, obviously, there'll be a lot of convergence between land mobile radio and LTE, especially. So, long term, the convergence does provide benefits in the form of redundancy, in the form of higher throughput for using cellular networks as well as broadband LTE through FirstNet, and it'll bring these communication added services to our first responders in the street so that they can get their situational awareness that much quicker. And it looks like, I skipped that slide. I think that was just a redundant slide. One of the key things that's been brought up is, why can't I do push-to-talk, land mobile radio, quality voice through LTE, right? That's a big question. Well, and I see some folks chuckling over there. You've probably gotten this question a lot. And it's challenging. And what people forget is that the P25 standard still isn't really final yet. And it's been around for 20 years. So needless to say, there are some things that need to be done on the LTE side, and they are being done to provide the 4G standards for voice over IP and mission-critical push-to-talk voice. That will take time. And there are critical services that are in land mobile radio that are not necessarily in LTE, and vice versa. So who's going to decide, how are they going to decide which critical services have to be part of the LTE push-to-talk voice experience? So this is just a brief snapshot of some of the things that you need to have, like direct mode, talk around. Right now, it does not exist in 4G LTE. Now, will it be on the roadmap? We hope, and that's a perfect example. Also, multi-band devices, right? Consumers don't need land mobile radios, so how are they going to develop these multi-mode devices? Fail-soft sites, that's a good example. When a cell site goes down, it goes down. There ain't no fail-soft there, right? So, that's another point. How do you develop some of these services that are in LMR and we're used to in public safety in the LTE world? So that's sort of another reason that this thing is going to be an evolution rather than an overnight experience and a switch. The push-to-talk communications, what does broadband bring to the table? Obviously, we think about location, mapping, video, those kind of robust applications that require more bandwidth that are impossible to provide through any kind of mid-speed or low-speed data system that you have today. And what will begin to happen is you will begin to see things like group call, individual call, the emergency kind of capabilities in land mobile radio integrated into these applications without standards, and then eventually with standards. And a number of entities have already gone out to RFP in New Jersey, LA RICS, a number of others for devices. So as you look at devices and you get questions from your first responder community about devices, remember that the key will be, I want a device that can leverage applications across multiple platforms like iOS, Microsoft, Android. I want to be able to leverage multiple bands. Why shouldn't I have a 4G device that has both commercial cellular and FirstNet band 14 in it? Because if FirstNet even were rolled out tomorrow in California, it's not going to cover all of California overnight. You could be in an area where you're on FirstNet, and then what happens when you go out of FirstNet coverage? Because it's not fully built out yet. You're going to have to roam to cellular coverage, right? So you want to have, at the end of the day, for our first responders, the ability to give them a tool that can work across these platforms and across these networks. And that's what it's all about. Again, convergence. I know that I'm probably standing between the raffle, it's now me and the raffle prize, right? So there's more to do. But anyway, I think this is a good time to wrap up. I appreciate the opportunity to be a stand-in. It's my first ever time. I hope I did okay. Appreciate you all and your service, and thank you very much. Oh, right. So the table. So you have a table and a mirror, and So, what do you do? Table. I'm sorry. Let me think. Table, a mirror. Yeah, table and a mirror.
Look in the mirror. You open the door. You ask your child.
You look in the mirror. Then what?
Tell me what you saw.
You see what you saw.
You click your heels.
Now use the saw.
You use the saw. What do you do with the saw? You cut the table in half. 2 halves make a whole, and you're out. There you go.
Thank you, Mike, for stepping up in a very short notice. Only this morning I had the chance to talk to Mike to come and give this presentation to replace our keynote speaker. So thank you again for such a short notice. And I come to Angela for the awards.
Here I am. Well, before we get to the awards, I want to announce the results of our elections. And I want to congratulate Brenda Bruner as our incoming Vice President. Carl Grover will be a Board of Director. And Jackie Pace. And I just want to echo what Dick said. It's important that we have participation from the agencies, but it's also important that we have people to step up to the plate to be on the Board of Directors. Once you get elected to the board and VP, those are elected positions. VP, it's a 4-year commitment. If we didn't explain that to you. So from VP, you move up the ranks to President-elect, President, and immediate past President. So we thank you for your dedication to APCO. And now, pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. So we have a motion to destroy the ballots. Second. And a second by Chris. So destroy those ballots. Thank you. Next, I have the pleasure of doing what everybody is here besides the vendor hall and the food to recognize those in public safety that are very deserving of such recognition. The first nominee is Eric Dye, who could not be here because of the weather, and he is a recipient of the Preston Thompson Award of Excellence. So we will hold his award and present it to him maybe next month. So there's Eric. What's that? Yes, Eric was also the National Award winner of the RF Technologist of the Year Award. The next award goes to the Sacramento Regional Fire Emergency Communication Center Fire Services Communications Team. The Fire Services Communications Team for the Sac Regional Fire consists of Chief Zender, Captains Challenor, Dumford, and Wagaman, and Telecom Engineer Chuck Schuler. The team is responsible for all radio issues that impact field communications for the 8 fire agencies in Sacramento County. The team conducts monthly meetings with staff to review issues relating to the SRRCS, as well as providing assistance for the largest modification of the P25 infrastructure upgrade. So with that, if we can have the team come up and accept their award. Pictures,
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. The next award is Communications Center Director of the Year, presented to Brenda Bruner with Alameda County Sheriff's Office. Brenda has worked tirelessly to bring the Alameda County Dispatch Center into compliance with CALIA standards. As a result of those efforts, Alameda County Dispatch became the first dispatch center in California to achieve accreditation. Brenda has also improved staffing in the Communications Center and raised morale. Because of her leadership and bringing positive changes to the Communications Center, Brenda is so deserving of the award. What up, Brenda? The next award goes to Communications Supervisor of the Year, Joe Thiessen. I hope I pronounced that right. Joe is the Administrative Supervisor for the SRFECC, responsible for daily administrative activity in the emergency medical dispatch, working with the accounting team, call statistics, and customer service audits. There's so much to say about Joe. I'm just going to cut it short and just say, please congratulate Joe on this award. We will post all the narratives on the website so that you can see how we made our selections. And every person here is well deserving of this award. The next award is Communications Center Trainer of the Year, Tara Poirier. Tara represents the best of what our profession has to give. She is committed to excellence and consistently sets herself aside to invest in others. She is an excellent dispatcher and role model for the junior members of the organization who look to her for training expertise and support she freely gives. Tara is highly deserving of the NAPCO Award for Public Safety Communications Trainer of the Year. So please come on up. The next award is Telecommunicator of the Year, Andrew Platt, Fremont Police Department. On May 5th, a call came into the Communications Center from the state of Maryland. The caller reported his son had just watched a male via Skype attempt suicide. Using several resources, Andrew was able to locate the victim, who resides in Fremont. Officers were immediately dispatched to the location, who found the victim in his bedroom, suffering from multiple self-inflicted wounds. Because of Andrew's skills, knowledge, and incredible diligence to locate the victim and get assistance, he warrants the award for Telecommunicator of the Year. Absolutely. Thank you.
For the department.
This year, we had 2 submittals for Information Technologist of the Year. And they were just so awesome that we have to recognize both. So the first recipient of the Information Technologist of the Year award goes to Matt Wooden with the Sacramento Regional Fire and Emergency Communications Center. Matt is the GIS technician for the Sacramento Regional Fire Emergency Communications Center, has responsibility for the GIS application on CAD, including mapping and the run card builder. He organized the structure of the map server with GIS team in the center, in addition to his daily responsibilities. So with that, we are proud to give the award to Matt. Our next Information Technologist of the Year goes to Philip Hung with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. As the Information Technologist for Alameda County Sheriff's Office, Philip is responsible for the computer-aided dispatch system, continually training and upgrading the systems to meet the demanding local, state, and federal requirements. In addition to helping dispatch, he is instrumental in instructing staff on the many aspects of the computer systems as they relate to public safety. Philip is kind and patient and sets a good example for the office he represents. So come on up, Philip. And our final award recipient, who was not able to be here, is Adam Call from the city of Napa, and we will find a way to get his award to him. And I just want to say one more word to thank you to my committee team, Jackie Andrews, Benita Beauchamp, and Jackie Pace. Without their help, we couldn't do this. So thank you. Okay, so I'm done.
Thank you, Angela, and great job. I know it was hard to select the awards-winning members, and I would like to call on our board of directors to come up to give you a token of my appreciation. We worked as a team, and I would like to give you just a certificate to tell you thank you for working with me. So I have Jackie.
How about we just come up here?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is not with us. You one of that Jim is, we have to give it back. He left. Tim? Okay.
Jacket's still there. No, he's just not away.
He's not here.
Anything to avoid a picture.
Thank you all for being good team members, and thank you for all your support. Thank you, Dan. I don't know. Yeah, I heard that. So we have a few board of directors members that didn't come because of weather, and our executive council representative Desi Calzada couldn't make it because he's in Florida. APCO International picked him to be on the long-range planning committee, and he's in Florida representing Northern California. So this is why Des is not here. As my tenure comes to a close, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for your support and let you know that I have been honored and humbled to serve as your president. I have enjoyed the opportunity to serve the NAPCO membership, and I know that I couldn't have been able to handle the challenges without your support. I must give a special thank you to the membership and to the entire board of the directors. We are one of the strongest and most active APCO chapters in the country because of the dedication and hard work of our membership. A heartfelt thank you also goes to all the vendors that tirelessly support NAPCO, from monthly meetings to our annual conference each year. As a nonprofit organization that strives to give back to the membership and the community, we simply cannot function without you. As I reflect on the accomplishments of last year, the progress we made, and our contribution to the overall mission of APCO International, I cannot but help think of the entire board of directors. You are one of the hardest working groups of people I have ever known, and it was a pleasure to serve with such a dedicated and motivated group. With your help, we were able to make significant progress this year to prepare for the 2015 APCO Western States Regional Conference, WRC. This included promoting the conference at the WRC in Phoenix and the National APCO Conference in New Orleans. The WRC has been one of our top priorities, and I'm always also grateful for the contribution of the Western Regional Committee to make this upcoming event a success. Additionally, I am happy to report that we have increased our membership to over 530 members. This is the highest number for NAPCO since its inception. Also, another significant accomplishment is providing the Certified Communication Unit Leader COMMEL training in Sacramento at the Emergency Medical Service Authority office. During this year, my employer, the California Highway Patrol, has provided me with the flexibility and the time I needed to serve as your president. This was possible because the CHP values the mission of such a prestigious and influential organization as APCO. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Scott Andrews, the committee chair of the WRC and our next president. I couldn't have done it without Scott's help this year. So I know you'll be in good hands and we will thrive. Without further ado, Mr. Andrews. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And before you want to go sit down, I would like to present a token of my appreciation as well as appreciation of the board for your services this year. So I have a plaque here with a gavel on it, the customary presidential plaque. In recognition, and it states, in recognition and appreciation for your leadership and dedicated service to the Northern California chapter of APCO International, with gratitude and great admiration from the Board of Directors, Northern California chapter of APCO. John. Thank you for your service.
Your shot, Martha.
Thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, as John said, 2014 was a fantastic year, seeing our membership numbers grow to unheard of levels ever before. That's fantastic. We have an exciting year ahead. Obviously, the WRC is a headlining event that's something our chapter hasn't hosted, I'm told, since the 70s. So I know none of us that are participating now, with the exception of Press Thompson, were involved at that point. So thankfully, we have Press to continue on that legacy and keep us on the straight and narrow. It's an exciting year in public safety. We heard a few words regarding FirstNet. I think a lot of us have heard a lot about FirstNet. There's a lot to be going on with the RFIs coming out from Washington, D.C. It's an exciting year. We have Next Gen 911 coming up. Location-based accuracy is a huge issue in the PSAP community. I'm very excited to say APCO has a very active member on the 911 Advisory Board in Chuck Berdan. The alternate to the 911 Advisory Board is our own Jim Acosta here, who's with us today from CPRA. So Northern California and Southern California APCO chapters work very closely on these issues. So even though we're two chapters, we really are one organization in California. It's exciting. That's been recognized by the state with the changes we've seen in some of the state policies and procedures as it relates to APCO and public safety initiatives. Chuck Berdan has been tapped to chair various committees on the 911 Advisory Board, so APCO is in fact taking a leadership role. In California, we've been known as the radio guys. Nina's always been the PSAP side. Nationally, APCO is very much a leader in PSAP community, 911 side of the house. We've really been working hard, the whole board has been working hard to support that industry as much as we have the radio side as well. Richard mentioned earlier about Spectrum. Spectrum is very much what we do and who we are. The APCO AFC Advisory Committee, Press is a frequency advisor, I serve as a frequency advisor. It is the lifeblood of APCO, that's true. But the people is what makes the organization strong, and the PSAP community is large. There's 460 plus PSAPs in California, a lot of those in Northern California. Those are our membership, that's our profession. We want to be very supportive of that. So again, I'm looking forward to a great 2015. We have a great board of directors for 2015. We're going to get them up here and do our swearing in a moment. We have a great group. I'm excited to see Brenda join our group. It's great to see more folks from the PSAP side coming over. Welcome, Brenda. It's great. I'm glad to see Jackie continuing service again from the PSAP side. It's fantastic. Carl, welcome. It's great to have you to our fold. You've been participating for years. It's great to get you on the board. Mirroring something that, or echoing something Richard said and Angela spoke about too, about participating. We're only as good as our people and strong as those that participate. So we're a very strong organization, well over 20,000 nationwide, over 530 we just heard in Northern California. We look to grow those numbers, but again, there's members and there's active members. Those of you that are in the room that braved the storm today are clearly active members. As we look forward to 2015, I'd ask that each of you consider possibly participating in committee work within our chapter. You're going to see information come out via the website regarding various committees and projects we're working on. ProChart is a huge topic. Lynn Bowler from Elk Grove PD here in Northern California has become very active at a national level. I know she's working with CPRA right now on developing a stronger presence in that space, again on the PSAP side. So there's some exciting things going on. Please consider participating. I know everybody's busy. Everybody's days are busy and full of other activities, but this is a very important one and worthy of all of our time. So I really appreciate that. As John mentioned, our own Desi Calzada, our executive council rep, was tapped to sit on the long-range planning committee for APCO International. He's in Daytona Beach, APCO headquarters as we speak. We've done, I think, a pretty good job in the last several years becoming more active at a national level from our chapter. We've been working closely with CPRA to make California a leader again. I mean, we've always been a leader, but there's room for us at the head table at a national level. And I think with the leadership we have between our chapter and Southern California chapter, I think you're going to see that more in the coming years. We're very active at a national level with the executive board. They do look to us. I mean, for example, the international president, John Wright's from Southern California. So it's a great opportunity for us. So again, with no further ado, again, thank you guys for this. I appreciate you coming out in this weather. I'd like to bring up Mr. Ken Eldridge to perform the officer swearing in. If we could get all the 2015 board members up here to the front, in front of the dais, we will work on, yeah, I think in front. Or do you want to do it on the dais? Want to do it up here? All right, everybody on the stage.
Oh, yeah, great. You want the mic?
Yeah, why don't I stand over here?
Special invitation.
That's right.
We're appointed. See.
No, you're on there.
Is there room? We got everybody?
Yeah, we can crowd rush around. Come on now. We know each other. It's all fine.
I'll tell you what.
You all right?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, you're tall enough. You're still dancing. That's okay.
Come on.
Will the officers-elect please raise their right hands? You have been duly elected to the office in which you are about to enter by the vote of the Northern California Chapter Quorum here assembled. By this vote, the quorum would invest in you the power of the Northern California Chapter of APCO. It bestows upon you its confidence, trust, and places in your hands the duties of your office as written in the Constitution of this chapter. Do you, under God, under country, and before these witnesses here assembled, each and every one of you, hereby accept this power, this responsibility, this confidence, this trust, this establishment of duties, and solemnly swear to uphold, protect, and execute to the best of your abilities the aims and objectives of the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials International. Scott Andrews.
I do.
Switch papers here. In no particular order. Chris Kinman.
I do.
Brenda Bruner.
I do.
John Bastarski.
I do.
Carl Grover.
I do.
Where Carl's hiding. Brenda Rosted. Rochelle.
I do.
Benita. I'm sorry, Benita Rosted. Press Thompson.
I do.
Chuck Schuler.
I do.
Angela Oviedo.
I do.
Jackie Andrews.
I do.
Jim Sony.
I do.
Mike Sage.
I do.
Excuse me. So be it. I now pronounce each and every one of you duly established in your new office. You're done. Congratulations.
All right, well, with that, that concludes our ceremony for today. Thank you guys for coming. And we're going to do door prizes here, but that includes this part of it.
We give out double tickets. I think there's more door prizes than members.
Well, we'll see. If we do, we'll throw them back in.
Or, yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say about national, we have three people from the CAC. We got myself, Commercial Advisory Council, Brian Lyons, and Mel Sanders from CPRI.
Oh, Mel's still involved because he goes out to see, who do you pick up? Who's he working for now?
Well, he was
he was
working for
AT&T.
AT&T.
I know, but
I don't know, I don't think he
that
has.
happened in August.
I don't think he has a job. But you'll have to, next time.
No, I appreciate that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Is that all right?
We totally went to three people.
What I said? Is it okay? Okay. Because I have time for that.
No, I'm serious.
Some open mic. You guys were talking. Open mic. Did you hear it? I think you're open here or something. This one first. Axel Wireless. All right. Okay. Hold runner. You can do it. Hear him, see? He's going to see? Oh, that's good.
I'm the delivery guy.
All right, everybody get your red tickets out. First off, let me say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. Glad you could join us today with the weather. And from APCO Wireless, a Cabernet, first one going out, 5633, 5633. Nobody? Once, twice. Okay, let's try this again.